On the 9th of February 1818, Antoine Givray, a boy herding sheep, had an unusual encounter. He met a priest striding towards him like a peasant on the road from Lyons. The priest called to the boy and asked him if it was much further to the village of Ars. The boy pointed to him the modest little town which was disappearing into the darkness. "How small it is," the priest murmured. Then he knelt on the ground and prayed at length, his eyes fixed on the houses. When they arrived in front of the poor church, the priest said to him, "Thank you for showing me the way to Ars, and I will show you the way to heaven." Ars, with its population of around 200 who depended in the parish of Miseria in the diocese of Lyons, was unaware that it was welcoming its chaplain, the great Father John Mary Vianney. Throughout his priesthood ministry, he lived to the point where he truly became more and more day by day another Christ. The priesthood brought him to a most exalted state. Once St. John Mary Vianney wrote, "Since the priest is important, the priest will only be understood in heaven. If we were to understand him on this earth, we would die of love." He used to say, "If I were to meet a priest and an angel, I would greet the priest first and then the angel." If there were no priest, the passion and death of Jesus would serve no purpose. What use is a treasure chest full of gold, and if there is no one who can unlock it? The priest has the key to the treasures of heaven. The first treasure to open is God's forgiveness. Therefore, from the first moment he arrived in us, Father John Mary Vianney had become a man consumed by the confessional. His reputation as a confessor grew rapidly, and pilgrims travelled from all over France to come to him for the sacrament of reconciliation. Firmly committed to the conversion of the people, he would spend up to 16 hours a day in the confessional. Under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, St. John Mary Vianney could read the hearts of those who came to him. Once, a well-known scientist who boasted that only reason guided him went to ask out of curiosity. After the Mass, the saint signaled him to follow him into the confessional. Suddenly, the man, overcome with tears, said, "Father, I do not believe in anything, help me." After 9 days with the saint, the man became a fervent believer. That simple "what a pity" in all its beauty showed what damage the sin has done. The saint was even known to remind his penitents of sins they had forgotten to mention. After hearing the amount of miracles that happened in us, Anna Thorin decided to take a son, 8 years old, who was suffering from pains in the femur. She arrived in us on February 25th, 1857, bringing a son who was in a wheelchair. Although tired from the arduous journey, she spent the night in the vestibule of the church, hoping to be the first to meet the curate. When the saint arrived, he comforted her and then celebrated Mass and invited her son to the sacristy. "This boy," he said, "is too big to be carried around. Put him on the ground." "But he cannot," replied the mother. And he said, "You can trust in Saint Philomena," and kissed the boy on the forehead. Suddenly, the youth arose from the wheelchair with difficulty and proceeded slowly towards the altar of Saint Philomena, where he knelt down and remained in prayer for a long time. When he got up, he was completely healed. On the 2nd of August, Father John Mary Vianney received Holy Communion and extreme unction from his own curate in simplicity and joy. He came face to face with God at the dawn on the 4th of August 1859. He was eventually declared a saint by Pope Pius XI on the Feast of Pentecost, May 31st, 1925. And in 1929, the same Pope named St. John Mary Vianney the patron of parish priests. The pious and heroic life of St. John Mary Vianney can be summed up in his own words. To serve the Queen of Heaven is already to reign there, and to live under her commands is more than to govern. You cannot please both God and the world at the same time. They are utterly opposed to each other in their thoughts, their desires, and their actions. I tell you that you have less to suffer in following the cross than in serving the world and its pleasures. If you like this video, please consider in subscribing and sharing it with your family and friends. May God bless you. Salve Maria.